Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, this is another update for my Tyrannocyte stroke Mycetic Spore conversion. So if this is the first time you've watched this, I basically have these Mecha Block toys which I used for my Mycetic Spores, and I'm trying to convert them up into the equivalent size and design of the new model. Now on the previous video we were discussing whether or not to have the pod this way, or like a suggestion that I had on my one of my first videos was maybe turning it up the other way. And I had good response. Thank you everyone for all of your comments. Many of you liked it upside down and many of you liked it this way. I can see that the gun section would look pretty good on this design. But ultimately I have chosen to go in this way. It just, for me personally, it just doesn't look right this way. So I've decided to go for this design, and I've been working on the base. So let me show you what I've done. Right, here we go. So I had the tube which I got, that was from an old till roll. I filled one end up with green stuff and I super glued it onto this base that I got off eBay. This is exact size base. And then I filled the other end with green stuff and I put in a magnet. I've then put on some tentacles, primarily to try and hide the tube, but also obviously as the original model's got tentacles on. So that's how that's looking. Now I potentially can go back in and do some extra work on these, maybe add some little dots or whatever, but that's how that's looking at the moment. And then on the pod itself, I went in and I put some green stuff there, and then I pushed the tube in, and I've put a magnet in the middle, and the idea is that it's got that groove effectively to help support it with the magnet. And it's working quite nicely, so let me just pop that in. So it goes into the groove, and there we have it. So that's how it's looking at the moment, and I have to say I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm not going to put tentacles on the actual pod because I think basically for storage, having tentacles on here is going to be a problem. That's why I've opted for this, and ultimately my aim is to have this separated so that I can store it easier, but also if the codex should ever change, or maybe a new Tyranid model comes out that this could represent by itself, at least I got it there. So I've got effectively both options, which is fantastic. So that's that piece done for now, and now what I need to do is I need to work on the top section, effectively where the guns are. Yes, so the actual GW model, I have to say I don't like it. Yeah, I might change my mind if I saw the model in the flesh. I haven't seen the model in the flesh. But the thing that I really don't like about it is the top section where you've got those like prongs coming up with the guns coming out. I think it looks awful. So I'm trying to avoid that, but it's actually coming up with some sort of design where I can actually get my guns on there and make it look half decent. And I have to be honest, I've been struggling. So I can sort of understand how the sculptors at GW also struggled to come up with something decent, because it's actually really hard to get guns on this thing. But I've got two designs that I've come up with at the moment. Let me show you. This is the first one, where I've got my Stranglethorn cannons. I've cut them down, and at the moment that's just on blue tack. But the idea being that that would go into the top area. I'd obviously have to, the blue tack would be green stuff effectively, so I'd have to mould some sort of green stuff section. But that effectively would go there, and obviously I'd have to keep it level because sadly the thing's like sloping down on this one, so I'd have to use green stuff to beef it up and make sure it's flat. And then I was going to use this hive node thing and have that at the top, so almost like that's popped up and the guns have come out ready to shoot. Now Martin McNeil sent me a load of little spikes and stuff, you know, some spare parts basically, but I want to try to avoid using as many bits as I can, and the reason for that is I've got 8 of these to convert up. Now, to be fair, I'll probably only convert 4, but even so, I don't want to use spare parts that I can't get because I want to duplicate them on all of them so they all look the same. But these hive node things, I've got 4, I think I've got 4 of these already, and these are the type of things you can pick up really, really easy, so I don't think I'd have any problems duplicating them. So that's my first idea. Gives me the extra little bit of height once it's on there. So in this combination with the base, that's 8 inches tall, which I think is about right. Not 100% sure, but it looks about right. I've seen it up against a Morlock, and it's taller than a Morlock, which this will be. So that's option 1. Now option 2 is going back to my very first idea that I mentioned about on the video, on the introduction video, and that was to have the guns coming out of these sections like this. So let me just quickly blue tack them on so you can see how it looks. I've been fiddling quite a lot with this thing, trying to get it to look correct. It's also slightly annoying there's 5 guns because it's actually quite difficult to get them all in the right place, symmetrical, on this particular pod where it's sort of a funny shape at the top. But you know, we'll get there. Now I had this all perfect just a minute ago, but can't quite get it there. That one there. Oh, here we go. I think that one there, and probably, yeah, as you can see, I'm struggling to get it symmetrical. But yeah, that's the other idea, to have them basically going around like that, and maybe to finish that off, I'd still use the hive node thing on the top, like that. Now, I'm not convinced by either of those ideas, to be honest. So once again, I am looking for your input, please. If you've got any comments or suggestions or ideas, let me know, please. So I really appreciate that. Similarly, if you think either one of those ideas is, you know, good, workable, then again, yeah, let me know. Obviously, these guns here won't be pointing upwards. You know, I've got to cut these off a bit more so I can cut them off so that they actually sort of angle downwards, because I think that's realistically how they would look. You know, they wouldn't be in the air; they'd be aiming down. It does look a little bit like a helicopter, but I don't think that's avoidable, really. So, like I said, I think GW sculptors had a hard task building making this thing. Let me just stick it on here. There you go. So yeah, that's how it's looking at this moment in time. So like I said, I really appreciate your feedback. As always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.